Minister Sumil Dutt Bola, Minister of Industrial Development, SMEs and Cooperative. And now we have the Director of Industry, Mr. Andre Paul, who is with us, and Mrs. Boulake. Thank you so much for this platform. Well, in order to facilitate trade, and protect consumer, the Bureau also collaborates strongly with other ministries, such as the Ministry of Commerce and Consumer Protection, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration, and International Trade. Prior to 1993, the standards and conformity assessment services were provided by a department of the Ministry of Industry before being structured as a corporate body under the MSP Act 1993. This change in status has enhanced the role of the Bureau in the Mauritian quality infrastructure. Today, Mauritius Standards Bureau provides at least 70% of the required activities of the national quality infrastructure which are needed to facilitate trade. While other activities related to the NQI are provided by departments such as the Legal Metrology Services, Mauritius, the competent authority, and so on, it should be pointed out that the private conformity assessment bodies also contribute to the national quality infrastructure. As per the slide, you will see that we have 5 technical units that provide core services to the nation. The Mauritius Standards Bureau and its core services are supported to the industry through 5 technical units, that is the Standard Development Unit, the Engineering Unit, the Chemical Unit, the Quality Assurance Unit, and the Metrology Unit. The Bureau also hosts the National Enquiry Point as per the requirement of the WTO TBT agreement. The manufacturing sector is slightly challenged by the size of the local market. It is highly dependent on export in order to be sustainable and ensure economic of scale. In this COVID pandemic era, the situation has worsened for the manufacturing sector due to the urging costs of raw materials and significant increase in freight costs. Thus, enterprises gearing to export have to be both efficient and effective to gain competitive advantage. Mauritius Standards Bureau has two-pronged approach to ensure the competitiveness of the manufacturing sector. Well, the first strategy is a top-down strategy. At the strategy and policy level, the Bureau has a strong participation in negotiation and formulation of preferential trade agreements, such as the SADC FTA, the AFCTA FTA, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Partnership Agreement with India, FTA with China, Economic Partnership Agreement with the EU, and so on. Mauritius Standards Bureau has an influence on the standards and conformity assessment components in these negotiations and ensure that the interests of manufacturers are safeguarded or promoted. This is in line with the strategy of the government to leverage on the trade agreement to open up new market opportunities and be competitive in these markets. Well, the second strategy is the bottom-up strategy. At the operational level, the Mauritius Standards Bureau has consolidated its role in the national quality infrastructure landscape. The Bureau provides at least 70% of the requirement of the national quality infrastructure, which are vital to facilitate trade. Our other partners in the NQI, being the Legal Metrology Services, Mauritius, that is the national accreditation body, as well as the private laboratory. The development of standards traditionally considered as an activity of national interest, which is funded mostly by the central government, has now become an activity of the regional and international interests. This paradigm shift is because of the development and adoption of standards done in isolation, but the jurisdiction lead to isolation of the country to hamper trade in the region and beyond. Standards are essential components of the national quality infrastructure of a country and a tool for the manufacturing sector. Today, it is not sufficient to develop or adopt only standards. We need to harmonize standards in order to integrate the regional and international trade platform. In short, standards shape the contours for trading of manufactured products. Standards have the potential to enhance cooperation at regional and international level. And in today's context, standardization is a driving factor in the creation of the African single market. Well, the shaping of standards for competitiveness of the manufacturing sector, the Bureau favors the development and adoption of international standards as well as harmonization of regional standards. And the Mauritius Standards Bureau fully participates in the development of standards at the level of ISO, IEC, also, and SADC to ensure the competitiveness of the products at the design level. And the Bureau also is a standard maker rather than a standard taker by influencing the content of these standards and promoting the interests of our manufacturers. While shaping the standards for the competitiveness of the manufacturing sector, we added to Annex 3 of the WTO TBT agreement with regards to the formulations of standards. The Bureau also comprises with international good standard practice, that is the GSP. Export of manufactured goods at regional trade cannot be effective if the merchant standards or conformity assessment procedures are not acceptable in the region and vice versa. Thus, our overarching objective is one standard, one conformity assessment accepted everywhere. This approach will surely help in the creation of the African single market, which is supported by the regional standards bureaus such as the SADC-TAN, also, and COMESA policy on standards, metrology, conformity assessment, and accreditation. The advantage of the one standard, one conformity assessment accepted everywhere is that the existence of one regional accepted standards and one regional accepted conformity assessment helps to foster the development of a regional market for goods and services. In so doing, it makes products and services acceptable at regional level and ultimately at global level at a more competitive price. At the government designated TBT National Inquiry Point, Mauritius Standards Bureau and coordinates its operation with the International Trade Division of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade, which is the TBT National Notification Authority and ministries within the NQI. At the TBT and NEP, the Mauritius Standards Bureau supports the implementation of the TBT agreement and plays a significant role to provide information on standards, technical regulation, and conformity assessment procedures to trading partners in the region and beyond. This mechanism is not only reduces the reduction of goods at borders, but also increases the speed at which the goods are cleared. One of the fundamental requirements of the free trade is to increase access to high quality and optimal price goods, while at the same time ensuring that the product and services comply with the requirement of a specification, technical standards or regulation, while the manufacturer must ensure that his product satisfies the requirements of the buyers. The latter would need to trust this relationship to ensure quality of products and services. Testing and certification brings confidence and trust between the manufacturers and the buyers to keep trade flowing. They improve quality and greatly help in reducing the standards and dangerous product from entering the market. Harmonized standards from the African region will urge stakeholders to meet the regional market requirements and assist the different players to ease the flow of goods A recognized accredited laboratory or certification body is obviously a passport to international recognition. It displays the competency of an organization to meet the market requirement. Accreditation is the basis to have mutual and free trade agreement between parties concerned and at the same time strengthen diplomatic ties. Harmonization standards and conformity assessment procedures reduce technical barrier to trade such as retesting, inconsistency customer verification. Such costs are considerably reduced, and if there's a level playing field, and consequently the cost of doing trade will reach to an optimum level. It is an undeniable fact that the regional and international recognition are best achieved through accreditation, and these are the key requirements to gain a competitive edge of the manufacturers. Accredited conformity assessment enhances safety, the value of the product, and protection of the consumer's rights. To build further trust, the Mauritius Standards Bureau has embarked itself in the accreditation of both its testing and certification services. To date, the laboratories of the Mauritius Standards Bureau are accredited for more than 60 testing parameters. This figure is expected to increase over the years and may be determined by the market trend. To maintain the accreditation status, the laboratories are participating extensively in the proficiency test and in the laboratory comparison exercise in the region and at the international level. Accreditation opens up new African market opportunities and thus favoring intra-regional trade. Well, our certification program in the field of quality management system, food safety management system, are accredited to build resilience and ensure business continuity of our manufacturers during the COVID-19 pandemic era. Mauritius Standards Bureau has developed and provided virtual and hybrid virtual mode assessment to its clients. We supported our manufacturers to retain their certification and maintain their competitiveness in the turbulence time. The Mauritius Standards Bureau, together with other private operators in the national quality infrastructure and government policies, are geared to improve trade cross borders for the ease of doing business with Mauritius. In this vein, the Mauritius Custom has implemented a coordinated border management system, whereas agencies, including the Mauritius Standards Bureau as a CA service provider, among other stakeholders, operate under a single roof to carry out conformity assessment for regulated goods. Documentary checks for regulated products and visual inspections are carried out at the port area itself and communicated with strict minimum delays to concerned parties. In some instances, documentary checks are also carried out prior to the consignment reaching Mauritius. This practice should be a reciprocal to enhance regional trade. Electronic transmission of reports is being considered, and this is fully in line with the Made in Africa project. Among testing parameters that are already accredited and facilitating trade are steel bars, steel wires exported to the region, such as the Réunion Island, plastic pipes and fitting exported to Madagascar, and Réunion Island, footwear exported to Madagascar, and aluminium profile exported to African countries. It is to be noted that a major difficulty in boosting trade is the number of standards for a single product. In some circumstances, Mauritius had already adopted international standards and find it difficult to adopt regional one. This becomes even more difficult when also and SADC issues differ different standards for the same product. It is of utmost importance to avoid this so as to facilitate trade. If member states are producing to international standards rather than national and regional standards, access should be granted. Complying to an international standard instead of national or regional standard should not be a barrier to trade. Mauritius is adopting this practice, and we urge our trading partners to consider same. Else, there will be a total focus on regional and comprising the potential of the growth by capturing the global market due to the need of duplicate testing and conformity assessment procedures. The Mauritius Standards Bureau, is an apex body regarding metrology services within the nation metrological structure, and is responsible to provide traceability of measurement through calibration services to all stakeholders of the economy, including the legal metrology services. The legal metrology services of the Mauritius Standards Bureau has a fundamental role in the NQI. It maintains the national standards of measurement, and it ensures the measurement traceability chain to be required accuracy. It provides traceability of measurement to the international system of units. Calibration services are currently offered to the manufacturing sector in 5 main areas of measurement, that namely mass, pressure, force, length, temperature, and relative humidity and electrical measurements. The metrology services has been accredited for 40 calibration and measurement capabilities. A credible metrology service underpins the conformity assessment system, which also includes testing and certification deliverables. Similarly, a credible conformity assessment system based on international accreditation consolidates the national quality infrastructure, in turn provide assurance of products. Consequently, these products are equipped to cross borders and promote intra-regional trade. Mauritius, represented by the Mauritius Standards Bureau, is a full member of the Intra-African Metrology Service, that is the AFRIMED, which is the regional metrology organization in Africa. We are also a member of the South African Development Community Cooperation in Measurement Traceability, that is a SADC-MET, which is a sub-regional regional metrology organization in Africa. Mauritius Standards Bureau, through its metrology unit, is an active participant in the SADC-MET and AFRIC-MET activities, such technical committees, workshop, and intra-laboratory comparison. On the international level, Mauritius through Mauritius Standards Bureau Metrology Unit is an associate member of the Conférence Générale de Poids et de Mesure of the Bureau of Standards International de Poids et de Mesure de France, the highest authority of ensuring measurement uniformity in the world. Mauritius Standards Bureau has signed the mutual recognition agreement of the Comité International de Poids et de Mesure with a view to establishing international mutual recognition of our national measurement standards and calibration reports issued. You should certainly have no doubt on the credibility of our metrology services, and this contribute in the recognition of our conformity assessment procedures for the viability of our products in the intra-regional trade. These slides demonstrate the international recognition of the conformity assessment services.
If I can give you please 30 more seconds, and we can keep the rest for the discussion later, please.
Well, I'll try. 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
Well, our metrology services, testing and certification services are accredited by Mauritius. Mauritius ensure the international recognition of our conformity assessment services as a signatory member to the ILAC MOA and the IEF MLA since October 2018. Well, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, the Mauritius Standards Bureau is shaping its contour to its product and services. We are onboarding the sustainability wagons through the sustainability program of the local and regional markets. Well, these are our eco-label standards for paint, which is based on the EU eco-label regulation. And the Mauritius Standards Bureau eco-label may be awarded to products and services which have a low environment impact than other products in the same group, right? And now we have free trade. I'm trying to rush a bit. We have free trade agreements. Mauritius is currently engaged in trade negotiation at different level of the concluded several trade agreements, as you can see, with different stakeholders. We have the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Partnership Agreement with India, with China, and Indonesia, and even COMSA and SADC. And Mauritius Standards Bureau has signed different MOUs and agreement as an instrument for trade facilities. My final remarks, right? Ladies and gentlemen, harmonized standards, accredited conformity assessment services, national inquiry point enhance effectiveness, efficiency, and competitiveness of our manufacturing sector and promote intra-regional trade. However, the trade policy of different countries are the prerequisite for intra-regional trade of goods. Thus, countries in the region shall leverage on trade agreement to open up new market opportunities. In this context, I hope that the food, the fruits, and the juice we appreciate here in Dubai, here in the hotel, the local products we are going to buy for our close one as gift in the market, can get access to our country without any unreasonable barriers. Why not? Similarly, products manufactured in our countries should be able to be traded in regional markets and beyond. This is the only different free trade areas will be seen to be free, with the resulting opportunities for manufacturers, regional economic growth, and improvement in standards of living for the citizen. Thank you so much.